Hi everyone, welcome again to another Teacher Joseph podcast. This is Boxing Day, the 26th of December. The 26th of December is referred to as Boxing Day. Some religious people call it St. Stephen's Day. And this is the day when people eat the leftovers from Christmas Day. Boxing Day, the 26th of December, gets its name from medieval English history. Apparently, in medieval times, on the 26th, boxes were prepared by the rich to give to poor families. It's interesting, I just assumed that Boxing Day was called Boxing Day because of the sport, boxing, but it is associated with giving gifts to poor people. It sounds very pomp, doesn't it? I suppose it was a tradition which comes from the old days when we had a class system. Well, I'm glad Christmas Day was over. It was okay, but it was a bit dull. I'm receiving visitors today on the 26th. So at home we didn't receive any visitors yesterday on the 25th. So I watched Planet of the Apes. That was a highlight. I told you about that yesterday. What else did I do? Yes, I also watched a musical concert. Michael W. Smith, Amy Grant, and Jordan Smith in concerts. It was very nice. It wasn't overly religious because those three singers are gospel singers. It was nice. They sang some Christmas songs. I think it started off with Jingle Bells. Home to Tennessee for Christmas, something like that. Of course, it's American, so they love their American songs, don't they? That was nice. If you're interested in watching that concert, you can find it on BYU television, which is a free app to download. It's one of these American feel-good stations operated by Brigham Young University. So you can find the Christmas concert on there free of charge. The concert itself, I think, is 10 years old now. I've been watching it since 2016. It's just one of those nice traditions at Christmas to watch a Christmas concert. When I was a teenager, I used to buy the albums of Amy Grant and Michael W. Smith. I think Jordan Smith, he was a singer who won The Voice, the American version of The Voice. But anyway, regardless of your ideas of religion, it's a great Christmas concert. Very nice and friendly and homely. I do like them. Yeah, it's one of my traditions at Christmas is to watch Michael W. Smith, Amy Grant, and Jordan Smith in concert. So that's one Christmas concert you definitely could get your hands on easily. While you're at BYU TV, by the way, there's another show on there called The Food Nanny, which is a really crazy lady who kind of like goes to people's houses and cooks for them. It's a food show, so if you're looking for food recipes, that's a really good one as well from BYU, The Food Nanny. And that one is completely non-religious. I like it for that reason. Because for me, food is just food. I don't really care about the deeper ideas of it, bringing together families and celebrations. I just say, well, eat the thing and enjoy it. So The Food Nanny is on BYU as well. You can have a look for that. Great TV show. And by the way, that channel has other food food programs as well, which are very good. So if you are into cooking and food, it's definitely for you. Well, speaking of food, for me, I've eaten too much. So now I just need to stop. Yeah, it was going to happen eventually, but I think the next few days I'm going to be eating practically nothing. I've just gone completely overboard. And I have to acknowledge, though, the reason why I've been eating so much isn't because it's Christmas, it's because I'm bored. Isn't that sad? I would much rather have been just working and forgetting about the day. I don't like Christmas. I don't do it well. So to put me in front of the TV to watch Planet of the Apes for 7 hours really was a bit much. One thing that did happen, which was very good, was I was gifted the TV show Mom. Now, there's a great TV show, so I watched a few hours of that as well. Mom is one of my favorite TV shows in recent years about a woman, her mother, and a few others who are all members of Alcoholics Anonymous. And they're trying to sort their lives out and keep their lives together while trying to stay sober. It's very good, very well made, and very, very dark humor. So you might like that. It's also on, I mean, it was gifted to me through Apple Television, but you could find it, I think, on Prime as well. It was free for a long time. I think it was Prime it was on. Yeah, but I see that you have to rent it now. But anyway, I'm sure you'll find it somewhere. M-O-M, American spelling, Mom, a wonderful comedy for this time of year. Of course, there was the King's Speech, and no, I didn't watch it. I don't do the King's Speech, as I mentioned to you yesterday. But he was on yesterday urging unity in a divided world. Again, I know he's head of the church, so he has a right to tell us these things, but I don't, when you see like, one of the richest men in the world telling you to be nice to people, it doesn't always go down well. His traditional speech, recorded in Westminster Abbey, remembered this year's 80th anniversaries of VE Day and VJ Day. Now, I really struggle with this. I don't even know what VE Day and VJ Day is, but apparently for British people, this is a big thing. Even though I'm British, I've no idea what they're referring to there. I know that there are liberation days associated with the war, and I do know that I always ignore them when they start talking about them. I'm sure they're very important, but unless somebody takes the time to tell me what they are, I'm just reading from the BBC article here. It says, this year's 80th anniversaries of VE Day and VJ Day doesn't give any explanations of what those are, and said we should never lose sight of the values in which communities came together in the face of such great challenge. So that was, of course, about the Second World War. But again, I'm just wondering why he's looking back. He's saying here, never lose sight of the values in which communities came together during the war. So no idea. He was there in his Westminster Abbey in the medieval Lady Chapel, and he hailed the spontaneous bravery of those who helped in emergencies, such as the Bondi Beach in Australia. And then they had a Ukrainian choir singing on his speech as well. If you want to see it, there is a YouTube channel that the royal family have. If you want to relive the moment, there's pictures of them on websites today as well, in the news, because they were all out and about yesterday going to their church service. And Andrew, the royal formerly known as Prince Andrew, the one associated with Epstein. His daughters were there without him. Really. It says here that during the King's speech, it says, this speech included a call for quiet and calm as our world seems to spin ever faster, with King Charles quoting poet T.S. Eliot's words without... let's see, King Charles quoting poet T.S. Eliot's words about finding the still point of the turning world. I wonder if King Charles knows that most people probably don't know who T.S. Eliot is these days. Yeah, see, I don't... As much as I love them, well, I don't love the Royals particularly, but again, just so out of touch, T.S. Eliot. I mean, it's only eccentric people like me, and even I am not really sure about T.S. Eliot. I wouldn't be able to quote him. So very English, very English. It goes on to say a royal aide said this was a reference to the social impact of new technologies and communities, and that people might consider a digital detox. Oh, I see. So he's hinting at the fact that we should be giving up social media. Yeah, again, we have this issue where the royals and the government really love being our parents, don't they? The BBC story here goes on to say, for the second year, the message was delivered in a location away from a royal palace. The king using a chapel in the abbey to talk about life's pilgrimage and the lessons for current times. He was in front of Christmas trees, and he spoke of the importance of community cohesion. Well, he obviously doesn't live around here, does he? My neighbours are warring with each other. I told you yesterday, I think, but one of them has just put a lock on their bin to stop the other one using it. Well, here we are, right? This is King Charles again. He says, as I meet people of different faiths, I find it enormously encouraging to hear how much we have in common, said the king, speaking under the chapel's famous vaulted ceiling. He says, with the great diversity of our communities, we can find the strength to ensure that right triumphs over wrong. Yeah, really good words and very relevant, I think, for the last 20, 30 years. But that's changing now, isn't it? We don't see each other as being the same anymore, which is very sad, because diversity really is the only thing we all have in common. He goes on to say, again, reading from the BBC, this is King Charles, these are the values which have shaped our country. Oh, really? And then he says, as we hear of division both at home and abroad, they are the values of which we must never lose sight. Yeah, he's kind of right there, but was it not just 150 years ago that we had people in slavery, with the colonial times? I don't know, but yeah, nice to see he's promoting peace at least. But yeah, Britain has quite a history, doesn't it, of colonial rule, right? And then he gives advice, about finding peace in the world. He talks about Bondi Beach. The very sad event at the synagogue in Manchester. And then the broadcast also touched on his visit to the Vatican, because the king, of course, is the supreme leader of the Church of England, Church of Scotland now as well, Church of Ireland, I think, and Church of Wales. The king reflected on the Christmas story, describing Jesus, Mary, and Joseph as homeless. Yeah, somebody else did that recently, and they got into trouble for it. And then there's a picture of him here, standing looking very smart with a suit on in front of two Christmas trees. There was no reference to his health, and there was no references to his brother Prince Andrew, or the prince formerly known as Prince Andrew, I should say. And then there was another film focusing on the work of Prince William and Catherine. The king is also a strong supporter of Ukraine. Earlier, the king led the royals by going to the church, St. Mary Magdalene Church, which is a royal tradition. So there we are. That was the king's speech. Very interesting, very interesting. I didn't see it. I don't usually watch the king's speech, but that was another thing from yesterday. Well, today, more things are happening. I'm having somebody over for dinner, so we have to cook for this person, of course. And I'll need to go out to try to find some olive oil. I'll be making the tomato dish, the tomato with the mozzarella and the olive oil and basil. I think it's caprese or caprese it's called. I'll be doing that. There's a whole chunk of beef sitting there, which I've no idea how to cook because I don't cook or eat meat. So the family will be doing that. And I don't think I'll be eating very much today. I really did go too far yesterday. I need to lighten up and just have some toast today, I think. Maybe with some tofu, which I might treat myself to later. And that's Boxing Day. I did well with gifts yesterday, but I think the winner in my house was definitely the cat. The cat received more gifts, cards, packages, parcels than all of us. He received his normal food, sweets, Christmas treats, toys with Santa Claus on there. He also received catnip in a little toy, which is like a sheep. So he's been crazy. Catnip is a herb which makes cats more playful. So he's been very excited. And he had more sweets than usual yesterday. So, of course, that kept him busy. For me, well, I got a new pair of slippers, which very useful. Yeah, very useful. And lots of socks, which again, very useful. I needed those. And I also needed some other just usual things, like aftershave, the usual men's toiletries. So they came in very handy. And I think everything I got will be very useful. Trying to make space in the bins for all the paper now, all the wrapping paper. So overall it was very good, except for my eating habits, which really got a bit out of control, I think. So I'll need to really start looking after my health for the coming days. Someone gave me a gift of a candle. That's unusual. I'm worried that I'm going to burn the place down if I light it, because I don't know what kind of candle it is. Strangely alluring. It's dark green. Kind of looks like a church candle, but I don't want to light it around my cat in case he sets himself on fire. It's the kind of thing he would do. So I'll probably just leave that as a decoration feature. So I need to buy olive oil. I think we are receiving our visitors around 3-ish. The supermarkets will be open again today for these kinds of things. They'll probably open at 10. I remember last year, supermarkets and cafes were all open because, of course, there's many single people who just would rather forget about Christmas. That's not a bad idea. So that will be me today, and that'll be today taken care of. I'm glad there's somebody coming. It's always nice, isn't it, when somebody drops in to see you over the Christmas period. And I also arranged a few Zoom calls with people that I know have the time to wish me Merry Christmas. So that also was nice. Lots of WhatsApp messages coming in saying Happy Christmas. Yeah, I think I've responded to those, at least most of them anyway. It's not the same though. I mean, a WhatsApp message compared to a call or having someone in person being around you. Of course, text messages can't compare to those kinds of things. But yeah, after today, there'll be a sense of getting things back to normal in preparation for the new year. The northern part of the country has very specific New Year traditions, so I'll be telling you about those in the coming days as well. But right now, just to say again, I wish you a really happy day ahead. I know for some of you, it may be a day when you're alone, which is perfectly fine. Just gather up your strength and do whatever you have to do. For others, you may be around people that you don't want to be around. And then there's people like me who just be busy cooking, a little bit tired, but trying to keep a nice face. So enjoy yourself, whatever you're doing, and I'll be back with you again probably tomorrow with more about Christmas. See you. Goodbye.